Hi everyone, I'm George Strezov and I'm the creative director of Strezov Sampling, and today in this video I'm very excited to present you our latest sample library, PACHA Ethnic Orchestra. PACHA Ethnic Orchestra is the result of our recent collaboration with multi-instrumentalist, performer and composer from Argentina, Alejandro Fatur. His fine collection of traditional instruments represent the rich musical culture of South and Central America. Based on our previous experience with ethnic instruments, we were once again dedicated to capture the full authenticity of the region, so that we are able to bring inspiration right at your fingertips. PACHA Ethnic Orchestra is divided into 4 categories: percussion, plucked strings, sparks, and woodwinds. So for PACHA Ethnic Orchestra we have 12 beautifully recorded authentic string instruments, and all those are heavily featured in this collection. The standard articulations are present here. I've opened the charango instrument, and I'll show you all the key switches to the left. I've already mentioned the key switches. So we have sustains. We have staccato. We have mordent. We have trills, major. Or minor. We have the chords, tremolo. So the chords, you can see right here that they're marked in like dark blue, light blue and green. So right here we have, this is minor, major, and like a dominant 7th. So you can do stuff like yes, pretty cool. Right here, the F sharp key switch, we have the chord tremolo swell. So pretty cool stuff. If you want to kind of tidy up the release, you can adjust the ADSR right here. So yeah, you can make it, tidy it up, or make more atmospheric pads if you want to. We have the chord sustains. Again, sounds real nice. And we have shorts for the same thing. And finally, last but not least, we have the chord strums. So for the tiple, which is a string instrument typical for Colombia, Puerto Rico, Cuba, we had a slightly different approach to the layout of the keyboard layout of Contact. You can see right here 2 zones in blue. These are the playable zones, and the right one is actually the first string playing in its full range. And the layout below has actually an octave below. So that's the way the instrument is built. So you can either play single note or like overlaid together. And there is only one instrument that has only sustains and staccatos, and this is the Paraguayan harp. In the woodwind section you'll find 11 instrument patches. Most of those consist of sustains and legato, accent and sustains, staccato and staccatissimo. Right here the Antara, Chuli, Mauta, Zanca and Toyo are all part of the pan flute family, which in South America bears the name siku. And what's also quite cool with all those instruments is that not only you can use the mod wheel to change between the dynamics, but also you can use the pitch bend to create this type of falling down or going up. The only patch that makes an exception to this is the ocarina effects, in which you can find a selection of random short improvisations and sound effects played on a collection of ocarinas originating from all around South America. And all those instruments can be accessed by the key switches marked in red, and right here the blue range has different types of effects. I actually created like a short little demo track for the library, kind of in the style of the White Lotus soundtrack, and you can use these effects and you can play around with the ADSR, with the release and attack, and create something that's really interesting and nice and quite funny. So these are pretty interesting. Check them out. Being a huge part of South American musical culture, drums and percussion are key for us. This mixture of African, indigenous and Hispanic roots are extensively represented in this authentic collection that we have to offer you, and also recorded with two types of performances: single hits and effects. And all these are based on our Extreme Engine. We have multiple videos on the Extreme Engine for all our other libraries, but just so you know, right here you have 12 zones that are represented right here with different colors on the keyboard of contact, and you can map and adjust all those instruments and all those samples to any of the zones. And then you have different effects. You have EQ, transient, attack and sustain, saturation, pitch, zone settings, round robins. It's very simple once you get the hold of it, and it actually gives you a lot of flexibility in creating your own like percussion instrument. So you can think of the Extreme Engine as an environment inside which you can design and build your own kits, and then you can save and load them and so forth. So it's really cool. So Patcha Ethnic Orchestra has 29 different percussion instruments with high or low variations, which were hit by hand or with a stick, and everything is written in a very detailed list in the manual. So I'll just play some of them for you, and you'll hear them yourself. And last but not least, Patcha Ethnic Orchestra also features a Sparks patch, something we have for all of our other ethnic libraries and something which was frequently demanded by the users for our latest releases. So here we have a collection of 23 different Sparks, also known as pads, and those were divided into two categories, fantasy and sci-fi, all of them adding to the distinctive feel of the whole library. The Sparks were once again created by Lyubomir Goshev, our friend and collaborator. So check them out. The main UI panel is the same as in our other libraries. For any of the microphones you have the option to perch, to adjust the volume, to solo or mute, to adjust the stereo width and the panning. You can also set different outputs if you want to from here and create basically your own personal mix. All of the articulation patches have these additional option controls on the right side of the GUI. There's legato type. You could choose between mono legato, polyphonic legato and sustain. So here it is. You can also adjust the speed of the legato transitions using these knobs right here, called mono speed and poly speed. and this allows you to control the feel of the legato. You can also right click on it and choose a different MIDI controller, so that way you can play something that's really fast or really slow. And also the legato speed adapts to the fast passages automatically, also depending on those parameters, so it's very playable. From right here you can turn release samples on or off. You can adjust the offset of the release sample. You have ADSR controls, pretty standard stuff. There's also reverb option. You can turn it off, or you can adjust the amount of reverb basically. And velocity dynamic influencer allows you to add more depth, dynamic depth to the instrument based on the velocity. So everything above a certain velocity will be increased, in this case by 5 dB. So everything above 64 velocity will be increased by 5 dB, and everything below it will be decreased by 5 dB. And this will basically give you the option to play polyphonically and create more dynamic changes. So if you want to have that like drony sound and melody on top of it. Additionally, a newly added feature is the option to switch between two types of releases for the plucked string instruments. All of those instruments, when you open them, you see to the bottom left part of the keyboard, you see different different keys marked in red. These are key switches which trigger different articulations. So in this case we have the sustain articulation. You can see it at the bottom of contact, like the info panel. So the C is sustain, we have mordent, we have trill, minor trill, we also have major trill and staccato, chord tremolo, chord tremolo swell, chord sustain, chord short, and chord strum. So for the sustain articulation and the chord sustain articulations, you have the release type 1, which is by default. So whenever you're letting go of the key, it just stops the note chord, like dampening the string. Here it is. Pretty standard stuff. But if I change this to release type 2, what happens is it basically triggers an alternative release sample, allowing you to create this kind of a strumming effect. Check this out. And you can also achieve something that is kind of similar to tremolo if you play really fast. So this release type option also works in a different way when it comes to the chord tremolo articulations. So release type 1, let me demonstrate this. Chord tremolo. This is release type 2, and if I choose the release type 1, it's like a short palm muted stop. And release type 2 basically fades out. You could even achieve something similar to tremolo with this release type. And check this out, quite interesting, I would say. Also, if you play chords, and when I hold the chord for some time, the notes for some time, it calculates and it just loses the release after a certain time. There we go. So you could do. As an end. Pretty cool stuff. Right here in the options panel, you have Niente, which basically brings the patch to complete silence when you dial your mod wheel all the way down. you can turn it on and off. By default it's off. You also have sustained notes, which is the sustain pedal. It's linked to the sustain pedal automatically. And also MIDI assignments can be changed both for the dynamics and for expression by clicking right here on the numbers and activating the MIDI learn functionality. Tuning Humanize detunes the performances to, again, to increase realism up to plus or minus 15 cents. This function is dependent on your DOS playback, so in case you're running Kontakt in standalone mode, make sure that you activate this play icon right here. But what's more important is that this Humanize will be actually always the same. When you play your track from the beginning to the end, it won't be completely random, so it will be the same, and whenever you do your own export, it will sound exactly the same every time you export your WAV file. So at the end of this tab you have the select round robin function right here, and it allows you to exclude any of the available round robins for the short articulations. You can just click on them and it removes them from the playing cycle. And of course they can be always included again if you change your mind. The third tab is the key switch tab. So here you can disable and purge, more importantly, the key switches that are loaded at the bottom left corner of the instrument. And also you can change where they are positioned on the keyboard. So if you want to change the key switches, you can drag this right here. In the last fourth tab you can find our newly implemented microtuning options, which we included in our previous library, Arabian Ethnic Orchestra. So when you click on it, you have the bass note here for the different scales. So if my track is, let's say, in E, I'll choose E, and then you have Western scale by default, but you also have different other categories like Syrian, African, Turkish, Indian, miscellaneous, and so on and so on. So if I choose something like this, it will automatically, you can see here on the keyboard, it will change, it will make the scale, it will show the root key and all the natural, the natural tones. So pretty cool. You can experiment with it and create some really interesting stuff. And in case I didn't cover anything on the UI and you have some questions, you can always press on the eye icon right here and it shows you what's going on here on the interface. So pretty standard. So Patcha Ethnic Orchestra, that has been our next journey into the vast world of ethnic instruments and their cultural impact on music. And we do hope that you enjoy this collection as much as we do, and hopefully see you on the next journey. Thank you.